Carolina State coming up on Wednesday. Adams State's 3-0 in conference play. They have an overtime win at Boston College. That came in early December. They had a very improbable road win at Notre Dame. Improbable in the sense that they were way down. I think they were down like 11 with less than 10 minutes to go. And then Notre Dame did nothing right for the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game. State did a lot right and won it by 2. And then this game, I didn't see a second of it because it was happening while we were traveling back from Clemson. But they beat Virginia by 16 in Raleigh on Saturday afternoon. And to me, looking at their scores, that's their best win, is the win over Virginia. Some of the other better teams they've played, they have not had as much success against. They lost against BYU by 9. They lost by 20 at Ole Miss, who was undefeated until this past weekend. They lost by 9 against Tennessee on a neutral floor right there in the holiday time period. So, I don't know. They've had a good start. They have a very different team than they had last year, outside of the fact that DJ Burns is still there and big and likes to use his left hand. And Casey Morsell is in his 800th year of college after transferring from Virginia. So those two guys are still there. Neither of them are their top 2 scorers. Their top 2 scorers are both transfers. DJ Horn, who came from Arizona State, Jaden Taylor, who came from Butler. Those 2 guys, and then Burns and Morsell are their top 4 scorers. I don't know. It'll be an intense atmosphere. Burns and Baycott have had 2 battles against one another last season. I thought Armando got the better of Burns in Chapel Hill. I thought Burns got the better of Armando in Raleigh last year. Those guards that were so good last year for them, Terquavion Smith and Jarkel Joyner, are gone. I don't know. I think Carolina's the better team, but it's in Raleigh. They'll be fired up. I don't know.
Worse state teams than this have beaten Carolina and Raleigh. Yeah. You could say that every single year.
Les Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, they could have 3 guys on the roster, and you'd say, well, worse teams than this have beaten Carolina. So they don't turn the ball over hardly at all. You know they're going to try to force turnovers and get some steals, create some pressure, so the Tar Heels will need to be good handling the ball, which they have been to this point in the season. You know DJ Burns is a crafty passer, so you can't just only defend him. You have to realize he may try to find a teammate and get an easy basket or 2. Carolina has better wins than State does and has played a better schedule. State seems to have been better at home than on the road, but part of that is because the teams they've played at home have not been very good.
Yeah. The Citadel, Abilene Christian, Charleston Southern, Maryland Eastern Shore, UT Martin, St. Louis, Detroit Mercy. That sounds like a bunch of teams that Conference USA said no thank you to.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina has played a more rigorous schedule to this point. But, I mean, you can't take your foot off the gas in the ACC because as good as you feel sitting here at 3-0, you'll feel equally bad if you're 3-1 on Thursday morning.
First time since 2016 that Carolina's been 3-0 in conference play. That's hard to believe.
Armando Baycott said that on the radio postgame Saturday. He said, I've never been in this position before. And I thought, really? You've never been in this position? You've been here since Lenny Rosenbluth. But he was right. He never has been. All the things that he's done, he's never done this. And so that's another thing. Maybe we'll talk about this with Hubert Davis. Handling success and getting a little more into that hunted role.